Hi guys, Mrs. Castle here, and we're going to talk about jelly plate printing. This is a basic print. I'm going to do a print with one color, and I'm going to do a print with two colors, and I might try a print with three colors, but I don't want you to use any more than three colors because it's just going to turn poopy brown and you're not going to be happy with it, and I won't be happy with it because you're going to look like you're wasting paint. So I already have my name on 3 pieces of paper, and I'm going to set them aside. You're going to need a jelly plate, you're going to need a brayer, and you're going to need a piece of paper to clean off the brayer after you put paint on the jelly plate. So I'm going to open up my bottle and I'm going to squeeze and put some little dots of paint, and it's harder to squeeze than it seems like it ought to be, but it's okay. And about that much for one color. And then I'm going to spread out my paint. The paint should be very, very thin and even across your jelly plate. And then I'm done spreading my paint, so I'm going to roll it on my clean off paper. And how thin is the paint? The paint is so thin that I can see my fingers through it if I pick it up. But when you're putting the paint on your jelly plate, you're going to be able to see the paper underneath. And I'm going to take my paper, and I'm with my name facing up, and I'm going to lay it down on top of my jelly plate. And then I'm going to rub with my fingers and my palm. Don't push on it. You rub on it or press with your knuckles. That doesn't do anything but waste time, and it kind of dents in your paper and messes up your print, depending on what you're doing. But I'm rubbing on the back of my paper on top of the jelly plate. Then I peel it off, and there is one print. And as you can see, most of the paint came off. A little bit is left there. That's okay. And your prints always go right on the drying rack. Okay, so what about two colors? Now I'm going to put half as much of each color than I did before. So I'm going to squeeze and put a little bit of my green, and I'm going to use yellow this time. Okay. And then, oops, that's kind of too much. I'm going to take some of my yellow off. Okay. So about that much total. Now I'm going to spread my paint, and it's going to mix together. If you don't want it to mix completely together, so it's kind of splotchy like that, that's okay. And I'm going to clean off my brayer on my clean off paper. Notice I'm using this for more than one print, and I'm going to see my paint is nice and thin. I'm going to take my paper with my name facing up and put it on top of the jelly plate, and rubbing with my entire hand, my fingers and my palm. Give it a good rub to transfer that paint off. Okay. And I'm going to peel it, and then I have my print. Pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to do one with 3 colors. Let's see. I'm not got to stop and think about the colors that you're using. If you use red and green together, If you mix them equally, it's going to give you mud, like a really yucky, poopy brown. That's not good. But if you're careful about how much you use, it could end up looking really nice. And we'll, and depending on what other color you add, I wouldn't use these two with another color because it's going to look gross. But if I take green and blue and yellow, if I'm careful how much I put and where I put it, it's going to look really neat. But if I just keep blending it together, it's going to turn green. It's going to turn green because blue and yellow make green, right? Okay, so I'm going to put, come on. Oops. That's kind of a lot, so I'm going to dot it around. Got it underneath my nail. This is the first time I've used this blue, so I'm gonna there. That's about how you want it. I'm gonna put my green. Come on. Oops. That's about all the green that I want. So I'm gonna take some off. There's another way you can take off the extra, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So I'm gonna roll it out. And then I'm gonna go this end. Okay. That may be just slightly too much, depending, yeah. I can still kind of see my fingers through. That's getting a little bit thick. And like right here on, right here on the edge, you can kind of see that there's paint going over the edge. That's not good. We don't want paint going over the edge. So, but for the most part, it's pretty good. And now I'm gonna put my paper on top, and I'm gonna rub with my whole hand. And I get something that's pretty cool. Okay. And that will go on the drying rack. I have some paint left over on there and underneath my nails. But that's okay. Sometimes it's cool to have a little bit of the print before in what you're doing right now. So remember, 3 prints. Make sure your name is on all, name and period is on all your papers. And when you're done with each print, put it on the drying rack. And we save these at the end of the period. This goes on the drying rack, okay? And don't worry about cleaning the brayers. I'll clean them off every couple of days. Okay, so that's a print.